Jennifer, and I write for performance. Sometimes live performance and sometimes recorded. And I guess I write for performance because I like being able to have a communal experience with other artists. So knowing that actors or performers, directors, designers are going to come into it and share the idea. I don't write poetry or prose because I would find it quite isolating. And writing is a very solitary activity. So I quite like not being able to say that it's all down to me, which I find quite scary. But I do know that I have to sort of provide the framework and structure, the map of things. With writing, I'm quite afraid of the blank page, and so I try to put something on page, whether it's computer screen or paper, as soon as possible. I write longhand. To start off with, quite often I carry notebooks around with me just because I find it much easier to have something that's portable and sort of scratching about and making notes. I find it much easier to do than to just staring at a computer screen. And I think it also helps me just sort of visually map things out because I always write from inside the world that's created. I never think of it as being either on stage, sort of or a radio piece or audio piece. It to me is very much about the world that I'm trying to create, so I try to be inside of it as much as possible. So I often need to create visual maps and just want to have visual props of things to be able to figure it out. And I think I know I'm quite obsessed with the idea of time and beginnings and history. This piece, I put the phrase, "there's always a beginning," there because I just quite like that. And oftentimes when I hear the news and there's sort of some conflict somewhere, and you sort of go, well, when did that start? So have I missed out on something? And it's always the thing of wherever you enter into a story is your beginning with that story, but knowing that there's something that happened before that. So there's always multiple beginnings.
Okay.
And the idea of where you come into a narrative is where you put your faith and trust and belief in the story and the characters and what's being shared. And so, not particularly knowing what's gone on before. So I'm really quite sort of always interested in yes, how we perceive to be a beginning or a truth, sort of where we come into that with the narrative and how that affects us. And I quite like structure. It's just a very easy thing for me to, it helps by having limitations, so whether it's sort of time limitations that I put onto myself or are imposed on me, or having a certain space to work in or a certain number of performers to work with. I quite like restrictions because then it just feels like it challenges me to find something new, because I sort of always want to do something new for myself just so that I don't get bored or complacent with things. And I'd like to have a writing structure, but I don't. I think every new work has its own demands. It's sort of like if you're going out with someone new and they sort of want you to be fresh and new with them, sort of love them, like you ever love somebody else. So you think, oh, I can't quite sort of use my old tricks, so you have to come up with some new ones, which is frustrating and great at the same time. And so each piece becomes its own beast and demands certain things of you that you just got to then push yourself to sort of satisfy those challenges. And then the next time when you come to write a new one, you try to think, oh, how did I write the last one? And realize you can sort of use some of those skills, but you just have to give in to the fact that it's going to be a completely different experience and this, yeah, a different sort of blank page. The trauma of having to fill that blank page.